Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com. I have another interview for you, and in this interview, we're going to focus on how exercise can age you faster, or if you end up doing the right exercise, how it can end up helping reverse aging. And who's going to help me answer the questions when it comes to exercise and aging is Shana K. So Shana K, I'll get you to introduce yourself to the readers, listeners, and viewers.
Hey Rick, it's good to be here, and thanks for having the call with me. I am Shana K, and I'm 51, and a lot of women my age might not be very, to me, I'm shocked that I'm that old because it seems like a big number. But the fact is I really like to use my age as a means to dispel the belief that, you know what, as you get over 40, as you get over 50, that, you can go sit on the couch because there's no point in doing any exercise, like you're just too old. And so I want to dispel the myth that, you have to get old and have a muffin top and be non-functional.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to be. And we've known each other for a number of years, and in the group that we're in, so we're both in a mastermind group. You might be over 50, but you can give, a lot of the guys that are in their 20s and 30s are run for their money when it comes to working out at the gym.
Yeah. I'm really always up for a challenge. I'm super competitive, but the point is I probably take things a little over the edge in that. But the point is that, you just don't have, you can train intelligently and use science to help you, overcome. Like, we're all going to age. There's chronological aging. Like that clock just keeps ticking. And next year, like when I turned 51, I gasped. It's like, just hang on. You'll be happy when you're turning 55. You'll be wishing you were 51, in terms of the number. We're just going to get older. But physiologically, we don't necessarily have to age in the same manner as most people tend to age.
Yeah. And then a big thing is, like, when people end up getting older is they feel that they can't push themselves hard, or they can't do the intensity of their workout, that's going to be harmful to them. And what is your thoughts on that?
Well, that's the whole thing about training intelligently. You have to learn how to listen to your body and, progress your workouts so that, if you haven't sprinted since junior high, well, you don't go lace up your runners and run down the block. Like, you're going to hurt something. And so, you just have to be trained intelligently, kind of work up to a certain level of intensity. But I think that's the issue too, is that a lot of people, no matter what age they are, Rick, you go look around at the gym, and how many people are actually working hard?
In a gym setting,
yeah,
very few people are pouring with sweat.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what age you're at. The intensity level is really what counts. Yeah. And so, that's why I have the whole concept of challenge workouts, is that it has to be challenging. And what is a challenge for me doesn't really matter. It's the challenge for you. Like, we're challenging ourselves to be our very best at our own level. And so that, I will constantly progress if I'm challenging myself. So if I'm looking to get one more rep, or a little bit more weight, or more rounds in a specific amount of time, so that I'm always constantly challenging myself. I don't need to challenge the person next door or you or the guys in the group or whatever. That's just kind of fun. But I will progress, or, at the very least maintain a very solid fitness level when I'm giving myself those challenges.
Awesome. Very true. Very true. So let me get into the three key questions that I had for you. So the first one is, how can working out provide an anti-aging benefit?
Well, like I said, we can't stop the chronological aging. We can die. Not a choice.
We don't want to do that.
So really, there's 4 physiological aspects to aging, right? The mechanical, which is muscles, bones, connective tissue, fascia, that sort of thing. Metabolic, neural, and hormonal aspects to aging. So exercise can address every aspect to that, and it has to be the right kind of exercise. So looking from a mechanical aspect, we can lose up to 10% of muscle per decade with sedentary living. And so, obviously, well, to me, the answer is resistance training, right? Whether it's body weight or adding a load, we need to be doing some resistance training to offset that loss of muscle mass. And I say muscle mass, and I don't want people to get all freaked out that, oh, we're looking to be all big bodybuilder types. No, everybody needs a certain amount of muscle mass, muscle tone to maintain their metabolism. Because if I was to say what the fountain of youth was, I would say it's maintaining muscle, because it keeps metabolic function going, higher metabolic resting rate. You burn more calories even at rest. For functionality, you need to have muscle on your bones. So trying to offset that loss of muscle. As far as metabolic function goes, and I mean, I know I'm, this stuff, Rick, but the response to neurotransmitters can decrease, 30 to 50% between the ages of 25 and 85, so that your maximal heart rate will decrease because of that lack of neurotransmitter, like the reduced neurotransmitter response. And again, a 10% decrease in the use of oxygen to fuel physical activity as we age. So what do we need to do? We need to do some kind of cardiorespiratory exercise. But I want to talk about the better and worse cardio later. And then studies are showing that, sedentary living is associated with memory loss and lower cognitive function. So if we want to keep our brains healthy and happy and, remember things, activity helps. And then from a hormonal standpoint, lack of strenuous activity decreases anabolic hormones that support muscle growth. So we want to try and address those 4 physiological aging factors, and we can do it all through the right kind of exercise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. I mean, exercise and the right exercise as you age becomes even more important than when you're in your 20s and 30s, because if you want to have that longevity and the functional longevity, meaning doing what you need to can as you age, you need to do the right exercise. I know with myself, I have 2 boys, and they're crazy. Like my son goes to school and he says, like, what's his favorite thing to do with his dad? And it's like wrestling. So we wrestle, and this kid keeps growing. So I have to go to the gym and get stronger in order to keep up with this kid, because
it's fantastic.
I mean, he wrestles with me, and last week he caught me with a punch and bruised a rib. He's like 6 years old. So I mean, so whatever your activity you're training for, but you need to, in order for me to keep doing the things I want to do with my kids, I got to take care of myself and do the right exercise.
Absolutely.
So that ends up kind of rolling into the second question. So what is the worst workout when it relates to aging?
Well, people might argue with me, but I would say the steady state cardio, the traditional aerobic training, right, where you're in that fat burning zone, which I feel is non-existent, but for a number of reasons. From a practical standpoint, that steady state cardio takes a long time. So the number one objection to working out is I don't have time. And who has time to go on a treadmill for an hour or go for a marathon run? And so time constraints are a big issue, right? And so in terms of anti-aging, though, that's steady state cardio is studies are showing raises cortisol levels. So, cortisol levels are associated with increased belly fat, as well. Lots of the steady state cardio is associated with lower body, running, so that can be associated with overuse injuries. So there are lots of lower body based exercise. So your upper body loses functionality, strength, core, all that kind of stuff isn't addressed. So it's not really a healthy balance of exercise, plus you're opening yourself up to overuse injuries as well. So I would say that the steady state cardio is the least effective, most harmful, has the least amount of anti-aging benefits.
Cool. Good, good. Okay, and I agree. I know with myself that time issue of, I mean, full life with job and business and family and kids and all the other responsibilities. I don't have the time to.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s and I could go for a 2-hour run or a 3-hour bike ride. I don't have that huge gaps of time. I need to get in and do my 20-minute workout or 10 or 20 or 40-minute workout depending on what time I have, and try to get the benefits that I did get when I had the 2 or 3 hours to work out.
Yeah.
Now the third question, so what's the best sort of workout for anti-aging?
Well, based on those 4 physiological principles of aging, or aspects of aging, we need to do resistance training. We do need to do some, so that could be, with weights or with body weight. Like a lot of people discount the use of body weight as resistance training, but try and do a pull-up. That's your body weight. Yeah. It's a challenge, right? Yeah. Or even just push-ups. And, there's ways of using body weight training that can really be challenging. So resistance training with dumbbells, kettlebells, body weight. Obviously, we need to have some kind of cardiovascular exercise within that. But I don't like aerobic training, but anaerobic. Anaerobic training is... there's a lot of benefits to doing that. It's very short and intense, and so it differs from aerobic training in that you have incomplete recovery. So with aerobic training, you're using oxygen, and not creating lactic acid. In anaerobic training, a result of that is the increase in a byproduct is lactic acid, which is a precursor to growth hormone. Growth hormone helps with fat loss and muscle building, so that's another benefit. But anaerobic training is when you have incomplete, oxygen recovery, so you kind of can't catch your breath. The benefit of that is like, try and jump rope for 3 hours. Not going to happen, right? So
very sore calves.
Yeah, crippling. But, so that anaerobic training is very short and intense, and you can do that burst training within resistance training. So you might be able to do a resistance training set where you're working the muscular system, hop on, do a HIIT or kind of high intensity interval where you're doing jumping rope or burpees or something very intense for a short, and then bounce back and forth. So you're using those different energy systems. So those are the best ways that I found with myself and with my clients, with my fitness boot camp, to get very fast results in a short amount of time. And I find that to be the best, it kind of hits all those anti-aging aspects, because you also get a hormonal response with that growth hormone because of lactic acid. That's going to promote and support muscle maintenance and growth. And then you build up that metabolism so that once you stop exercising, your metabolism is still burning, like when you're off to work or in the shower. The thing with steady state cardio is your calorie burn kind of ends when you stop working out because you haven't raised your metabolism. So does that make sense? Strength,
that makes training, perfect sense.
Paired up with kind of some HIIT or interval training and short workouts. And
when it comes to, sample workouts, you've put something together that kind of helps people when it comes to the focus on the anti-aging workouts. And maybe you can kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I do run this fitness boot camp, and, I'm in front of a lot of people, and, when they're not in boot camp, it's like, well, what can we do? Can we, and so I made some follow-along videos that would incorporate these principles so that when my clients aren't training with me, they're still training with me. I'm in their living room with them. And so, and because time is an element, it's in such short supply, I wanted to make workouts that were short, fast. And when people train at home, an issue is intensity. Oh, I'll just go put laundry in. Oh, the dog needs to be fed. No, work with me for 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes. And so I kind of keep me and my Challenge Fat Loss team, that's, I called it Challenge Fat Loss. In these videos, we ask you to kind of just tune into us, 20 minutes, sweaty, you're hot, you're done in, a short amount of time. You don't need a lot of equipment. You can just do it in your living room.
Awesome. And then you know, any last minute things that you want to leave people with?
Well, you know, the thing is that, you know, we talked about aging, and if you are kind of on the other side of 40 or 50, it sounds intimidating. Challenge. Oh, I'm not up for that. The point is that you've got to start somewhere, and like we talked at the beginning of our interview, Rick, the challenge is the personal challenge. It might be doing a push-up from your knees. Maybe you're going to progress that in 2 weeks to a push-up from your toes, but you got to start somewhere. Listen to your body. You know, I'll help you, you know, with videos to modify, to intensify. You know, we can coach you along the way, but just start. You got to start somewhere. It's never too late.
Awesome. And where can people get more information about you, Shawna?
Well, I'm sure that you'll provide that. Can you just put a link somewhere that they can read about M2A training and the science behind it? Because I really base my programs on science and things that work. It works for me, it works for my clients, and it will work for, you know, other people that are looking for a solution for home.
Awesome. You bet. I'll have a link below this video, either in the description area or below in the blog post area. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, Shawna.
Great chatting and meeting all your folks there at Exercise for Injuries.
Awesome. So thank you very much, everyone at exercisesforinjuries.com. This is Rick Kaselj. Make sure to swing by exercisesforinjuries.com. Enter in your injury or pain in the search box. There's a good chance to have an article, video, or interview that will help you overcome your injury or pain. Secondly, if you're watching this on YouTube, head up above, hit subscribe. What that'll do is every couple days you'll end up getting a video like this where I end up either talking about overcoming injury or pain, how to work out injury or pain-free, or an interview like this with one of my friends in the health and fitness area. Lastly, head down below, hit like, and leave myself and Shawna a question or comment. So this is Rick Kaselj from exercisesforinjuries.com saying take care and bye-bye.
See you, Rick.
Bye.